Hello, soul family. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Divine Soul Guidance. Why is it that sometimes we make ourselves a promise and then later break it? Why is it that we tell ourselves that we're going to get in shape, start that business, write that book, stop our self-sabotaging behaviors, only to procrastinate and distract ourselves with other things and to fall into the same patterns that keep us feeling miserable and stuck? In this video, we will examine some of the common reasons why people break trust with themselves and what you can do today to stay true to yourself and start living in alignment with your word. On our spiritual path and on our life path, one of the most destructive things that we can do to ourselves is to fail to hold ourselves accountable to the things that we said we were going to do. We can fail to hold ourselves accountable to small things like eating healthy, to bigger things like not working on the behaviors and patterns that are self-destructive. We react to life instead of creating it. We allow external circumstances and other people to take us off our path, steer us in a different direction, or hold us back from doing the things that we really want to do or achieving the things that we hope to achieve in life. And why do we do this? That will be the topic of the video today. 5 major reasons why we break trust with ourselves and what you can start doing to rebuild trust with yourself today. All right, number 1, most people are afraid of being uncomfortable. Let's face it, very few of us want to experience pain. Most of us go through our lives avoiding pain in any way, shape, or form that we can. Numbing, distractions, instant gratification, avoidance, etc. We will go to great lengths to stay comfortable. Staying in the wrong relationship for too long, only doing things that feel good, and not doing anything that requires discipline or sacrifice, overstimulating ourselves so that we never have to think deeply or be present with ourselves. And perhaps the biggest one, avoiding having to change our bad habits. You get the idea. The list could go on. The point is that if we live our lives this way, always trying to be comfortable, always trying to avoid pain, we are not going to achieve the things that we want to experience, like inner peace, physical wellness, a healthy self-concept, or seeing our dreams become reality. Pain is required to some degree if there are things about ourselves or our lives that we want to change. You want to stop feeling stressed, anxious, or depressed? Guess what? That is going to require some level of discomfort. Either changing your behavior, changing your surroundings, working with a therapist, or healing your nervous system. It is not possible to stop feeling stressed, anxious, and depressed without doing something. Even if that something is small, like regular self-care practices, you are still going to be required to make a change in some way. Number 2, the second reason most people break trust with themselves is that they lack self-discipline. In today's world, it is more common than not to see people breaking trust with themselves because they simply allow themselves to lose focus, or they self-sabotage by saying that they're going to do something and not following through. This comes down to discipline. It comes down to commitment. How tired are you of being where you are today? In the relationship that you're in the patterns that you're in, the mental or emotional state you're in, or your financial state? Chances are, when you are really tired of your current situation and you no longer feel that it is bringing you joy, peace, or fulfillment, that is when you will buckle down and decide to make a change. Once you know what you don't want and you're tired of being broke, miserable, or unwell, then you will be highly motivated to follow through. You will have the discipline to make daily strides toward what it is that you do want, and you will say no to more of the things that you don't want. You will not allow people and things to steer you off course because you are 100% committed to improving your current circumstances. Now, The one missing ingredient that we haven't talked about is belief. Knowing what you do want and knowing what you don't want are the start. Once you've determined those two things, however, then the question becomes, do you believe that you can have the thing that you're wanting? Do you believe that you are capable of learning, capable of changing, and capable of doing what it is you're setting your mind on doing? That depends on you. Without a positive belief in yourself, it won't happen. Next, number 3, we have been conditioned for instant gratification. In this fast-paced world of information, products, and resources being delivered to our doorstep with the click of a button, many of us have grown accustomed to having what we want without having to work for it or wait for it. We have developed a lack of persistence and a reliance on instant gratification because our society has conditioned us to operate that way. Everything from DoorDash to Amazon to ChatGPT has made us what you might call lazy in a way, complacent, wanting our needs to be met without having to lift a finger. And you know what? That is a recipe for disaster. We are losing trust in our own ability to persist and be patient. Let me give you an example scenario. Richard dreams of having this cute little 2-story house in the mountains. He has envisioned everything in this house from top to bottom. Its rooms, its features, even the exact location where he wants to build it. But instead of being careful with his spending, finding creative ways to make side income, Richard blows all of his money going out with friends on the weekends, drinking alcohol, eating out at restaurants, buying things he doesn't need, and wasting his resources. After 5 years of working and saving, he only has a small savings account to show for all of his hard work. He has squandered his time and money just for the sake of instant gratification, just for the sake of fun and distractions. He is hardly closer today to being able to build his dream house than he was 5 years ago. And why is that? It is because he didn't say no to the things that would give him a temporary hit of dopamine so that he could have what he really wants instead. If he had buckled down for even 2 years and stopped spending excessively on things that weren't helping to get him closer to his goal, he would have been living in his dream house by now. So you can see in this example that Richard's lack of persistence, discipline, and focus has caused him to miss out on the very thing he was supposedly working hard to achieve. Number 4, we've been conditioned to people please. Our society raises children who are taught to fit in. They are taught to dress the same, talk the same, think the same, and to fall in line. The adults in their surroundings model to them a never-ending battle to be liked in their relationships, liked in their workplace, and even in the public eye. It is not cool to be different. It is not cool to set off on a different path than everyone else, or to have different opinions or values. Therefore, we grow up in society at a very young age, learning these social skills. And then we become adults who try so hard to be liked that everything we do is either a performance for the validation of others or for self-protection, such as wearing a mask or pretending to be someone that we're not. This leads to things such as codependency in relationships because we are only thinking of how we can please or impress the other person. We lose trust in ourselves because we are no longer acting and behaving as our authentic selves. We are making choices and repeating behaviors because we think others will like them. When instead, the goal is to be able to say to yourself, this is what feels right to me. I am not doing this for anyone else. Therefore, I do not care about who does or doesn't agree with my decision. Lastly, number 5, we have been gaslit by society not to trust ourselves. This comes in the form of things such as politics, the news, social media, religion. All of these methods of tricking our minds into doing something or believing something that may go against our own inner wisdom. Sales is a perfect example. We listen to the radio or let's say YouTube constantly, and every 5 minutes there's an advertisement that comes on the radio or that comes on YouTube. And this advertisement is trying to convince us so badly that we need this thing that we don't actually need, but they're trying to use psychology tricks to trick us into thinking that we need to buy something. We need to waste our money on this item just because it's the best product we're ever going to find. And instead of listening to ourselves and acting because we do actually want that thing, we're driven by this advertisement, by this company. And our whole society is designed that way. Politics, they're going to get you to believe that they're going to change things. They're going to stand up for your rights. They're going to do this or that. And it doesn't actually happen. And it doesn't actually align with the way you wish to live your life. Religion, the same thing. You may be forced to believe things as you're growing up from religious indoctrination that you don't actually believe. And you may be forced to adopt things that your family believes that you don't actually believe. So our whole society is designed to gaslight us. And basically, we're questioning our own intuition and our own ability to trust ourselves because other people are constantly shouting at us. Inside of each of us is a guidance system that will never steer us in the wrong direction. Inside of us is the only guidance system that we ever need. So all of this being said, what are some actionable steps that you can take to start rebuilding trust with yourself? Let's examine. Rebuilding trust with yourself works much like the way you rebuild trust with another person. Trust requires proof. In order to show that you are true to your word, that you trust your own intuition, that you trust your own path, you must prove to yourself through actions that you are capable of being trustworthy. Just as you wouldn't trust a person who constantly lets you down and makes promises that they can't keep, you wouldn't do that to yourself either. Same with how you wouldn't trust somebody who says they're going to change but never does. You wouldn't build trust with yourself by refusing to change or adjust your habits or behaviors. The first thing you can do is to keep the promises that you make to yourself, starting with the small ones. For example, you say you want to get into shape, then get yourself moving. You say you want to be financially free, then start looking for creative ways to earn a side income or save extra money. You say you want to get healthier, then start changing the foods you buy or eat. Start with something small and manageable. Don't go too crazy trying to implement something extreme because that will never work. Secondly, train yourself to look at the long term instead of the short term. Every time you're tempted to get distracted, self-sabotage, or do something that is the opposite of what will lead you to your goal, remind yourself why you are doing this in the first place. And then remind yourself what it is that you want to achieve and that it's going to take persistence. It is not a race, it is a marathon. Third, write down your vision, your goal, the habit that you're trying to break, and put it somewhere where you'll see it every day. For example, a great thing that's worked for me is to put a reminder on my phone. Every day at this time, a reminder would go off and I couldn't miss it. I would see it, and it would be a way for me to come back to center and remember why it was that I was putting in that hard work. Fourth, have a trusted, safe person to hold you accountable. If you know that you struggle to hold yourself accountable, which a lot of us do, then hire a coach, hire a therapist, or enlist the help of a trusted friend who will check in with you weekly and ask you where you are with your progress. Better yet, have someone go through the same process with you. For example, if you have a friend who would also like to save more money and be financially free, both of you could challenge each other to go through the same process of setting aside money and finding creative ways to save on your spending. And that way you would hold each other accountable through the process. Last but not least, trust yourself above all of the naysayers. Anytime you're trying to change, you will find that people around you will fight to keep you the same. You losing weight and looking amazing will suddenly feel like a threat to someone who is choosing to stay unhealthy. You giving up alcohol when all of your friends keep drinking will suddenly make you look like the party pooper. But if you listen to the small voice inside, your intuition, you will know in your body why you must make the change, or why you are called to create the thing that you're trying to create. You know. It doesn't matter if anyone else understands it. Building trust with ourselves starts with self-awareness. It starts with recognizing the little ways that we let ourselves down every day. And then it moves to commitment to doing better, to being better, followed by small daily actions that will get us there. Thank you for listening. I hope that you have found this message to be helpful. If something resonated with you, I would love to hear it in the comments below. Please share this video with anyone you think could benefit. And until next time, I hope that you will continue to practice the steps that we talked about today, and to be for yourself the kind of person that you can trust and depend on. See you next time. Wishing you a beautiful day.